Panama bids Belt and Road program goodbye after Rubio visit. Do we know what the Belt and Road program is? Let's find out. Panama Canal. Remember how Trump, by the way, he renamed the Gulf of Mexico is now the Gulf of America. Google Maps has changed it to Gulf of America. It's not just a little flippant remark. No, he made an executive order. He's made it, and that's now they're recognizing it. They're changing it to the Gulf of America. Why? It's a verbal, a nominal in name only, but with significance. In other words, Western Hemisphere, Monroe Doctrine. Our Gulf. It's the Gulf of America. We're going to monitor it. We're going to control it, just like our border with Mexico and our border with Canada. And if we help Canada stay safe, it's a big buffer. And Mexico, and the Panama Canal, and Colombia, and then we have our great friend, okay, in Argentina, and in El Salvador. These young new presidents, fantastic. All right, Panama bids Belt and Road program goodbye after Rubio visit. First fruit of Trump pressure campaign draws angry Chinese response. There's Rubio, who we spoke about, right? Rubio, who's from Cuban heritage, speaks Spanish. Panama's president, Jose Mulino, left, and U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio arrived for a meeting at Presidential Palace in Panama City on February 2nd. This is by Mike Glenn, The Washington Times, Monday, February 3rd. A version of the story appeared in the When Panama signed up for China's vast Belt and Road Initiative in 2017, so we're going to let this Belt and Road Initiative, China, it became the first country in the Latin American to join the massive international infrastructure financing project that Beijing had used to win friends and expand its global influence. So you see, we're not the only ones who are thinking geopolitically, okay, and strategically. China has a Belt and Road Initiative, okay? And what is that? They offer massive international infrastructure and financing projects to other countries in order to win friendships with them and have global influence. Global influence where? Latin America, Central America, in our hemisphere, in the Western Hemisphere, a violation of the Monroe Doctrine. Monroe Doctrine. Not a crazy concept. Taking over Greenland. Not a crazy concept. Controlling the Panama Canal. Not a crazy concept. 5 years later, Panama would be the first country in the Western Hemisphere to withdraw from the Belt and Road program. Rubio goes down there, and they're gone. They get out of the program. The first fruit of President Trump's pressure campaign in the region, although it was overlooked amidst talks on illegal immigration and the future of Panama Canal, Secretary of State Marco Rubio was quick to claim victory after visiting Panama over the weekend on the Belt and Road issue. Previous U.S. administrations have looked at the program uneasily as a means for the ruling Chinese Communist Party to win global clout and ensnare participating countries in damaging debt. See? So it's not just about the cost of the canal. It's about this program that China offered them. They accepted, and there's no free lunch. Now they're in debt politically and financially to China, and therefore China has influence. Influence where? In our hemisphere. It's really just so simple, isn't it? It's so simple. But when the bureaucracy is so entwined and these people never leave Washington and it's all about themselves and it's the ping pong game between Republicans and Democrats, then none of this matters. And what seems so common sense and obvious becomes ridiculous. It's like the US aid. I mean, these programs that they were funding are just outrageous. But the thought of stopping it just seems impossible until somebody like Trump comes along and gives Musk permission with Trump's approval on each thing to say, what are we spending money on? President Jose Raul Molina's announcement Sunday that Panama will let its participation in China's Belt and Road Initiative expire, quote, is a great step forward for U.S.-Panama relations, a free Panama Canal, and another example of President Trump's leadership to protect our national security and deliver prosperity for the American people, Mr. Rubio wrote on social media after leaving Panama for a stopover in El Salvador. That gentleman down there, what he's doing with El Salvador is just it's an amazing story. We're going to go into that. I give you my word. I am going to keep exploring, finding these leaders, many of them young, and learn about them. What's happening around the world in little countries and big countries? And how is freedom being spread? Freedom of religion, freedom of speech, and most importantly, the freedom of individuals to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Panama is a strong partner and ally of the United States, Mr. Rubio said Monday. He called his discussions with Mr. Molina frank and respectful. Although Mr. Trump has focused much of his public criticism on Panama and its operation of the canal, and what he says is a growing Chinese influence over the operation of the American-built waterway. A top Republican in Congress said the Belt and Road decision could prove just as consequential. Representative Michael McCall, a Texas Republican and former chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, said China's encroachment into the Western Hemisphere, Monroe Doctrine, including I'm saying Monroe Doctrine, that wasn't in the story, including contracts by a Hong Kong company to operate critical ports at both ends of the Panama Canal. See that? So China goes in there, they're gonna help them out. There's no bad intentions by China, of course. No, that's crazy. Of course there is. Look what happens. The Panama Canal, a Hong Kong company was to operate critical ports at both ends of the Panama Canal. So who's in control of the Panama Canal then? China. Amounted to a clear and present danger to U.S. interest in Latin America. And that's just, the article is going to bring up the point I'm thinking about right now. Where was the Biden administration during all this? Do you realize how dangerous it was? How much danger we were in if Kamala Harris won? All this stuff is taking place. Obviously, none of it would be taking place. And all the negative, all the grotesque spending, and all the deadly spread of cancer, the rot, the cultural and governmental rot, and the geopolitical weakness, and the lack of strategy would just go on. American demise would be certain.